No, she got the control, so we good to go? Okay, we're recording now? All right. So welcome, gentlemen. My name is Pamela Bussey, and I'm honored to have Dr. White, and also...
But tell them to cut it off.
Restart.
Yeah.
Okay, what?
He came back here pouring a drink. It was offering y'all a drink.
Can they turn that music down a little bit?
Yeah, can you turn it down?
Well, no, they doing their shoot, so we...
Well, if they mic us up, that won't be
Right.
a problem.
We might need a drink to wet the whistle.
Are you mic'd? Are you mic'd up?
He is like, okay, we
I'm
gonna
not mic'd.
just give a
You're
second.
mic'd. You're mic'd.
I am, but we
You
can
only
share.
have one.
We can share.
Oh, no. You're the moderator. You need a
But we
mic.
need to hear you too, so we can pass it back and forth. We good.
Okay.
Isn't there
I'll
something
hold
we just
Giving
put
y'all
in
the
the
real
middle?
glass.
Yes, we just gonna get we gonna have to the ancestors real quick to give us the strength.
Did
to
you
carry.
want a glass, doctor?
No, you trying to get my brothers to beat me up?
Your
No,
brothers? What brothers you mean?
the Muslim
Muslim
brothers.
Muslim brother.
No alcohol.
Oh, no alcohol.
He's a devout.
That's right. So here's to the ancestors.
Oh, yeah.
May they loosen our tongues and let truth flow.
That was funny. Man, do something else.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, see, you could have some of this. I'll take some. Great.
That's
Yeah.
Anyway. Doc. Pam.
Everett. Welcome. As you see, we are being very casual and laid back here at a Perfect Union Art Gallery. So in preparation for my exhibit, which is opening this Saturday, February 7th, entitled, it's a long Swahili word, and you know my Swahili is not the
It's
best,
very good.
but you know the correct pronunciation, do you not?
Don't
No.
test me.
Okay, so we're going to go with the one word that I know stands for connections, and I believe I pronounce it correctly if I say Ushirikiano.
It sounds good to me.
Okay, so that's what we're going to work with.
Okay.
And so the theme behind the exhibit is I'm trying to reflect through art and other means the connections that exist between African Americans and Africans. So the work will evolve around some themes. One of the themes will be Upendo, which is Swahili for love, Pamoja, which is Swahili for togetherness, Uhuru, which is freedom, and Emoja, which is unity. So I thought what we could do just to give people a perspective, and we have Dr. White, and I'm just going to have you share a little bit about your background so the people know that we're serious up in here in this
Yes,
discussion that we're about to have.
Well, thank you, Sister Pam, Brother Everett. I love the arts, literature, paintings, and so forth. I'm a graduate of Bethune-Cookman University, Purdue University, Ohio State. The Ohio State. We also did work at Johns Hopkins as well as the University of Chicago in law.
Man.
But in reference to this type of work, you may not know that I was a consultant with the National African-American Museum.
I did not.
That was
Very
in
nice.
Wilberforce as well as in Washington. I curated exhibits, Paul Lawrence Dunbar Museum. I was the head of that agency or museum in Dayton, Ohio. I curated an exhibit on Haitian voodoo and culture. And that's very interesting because when you look at culture and art, you find that African art is alive. It has meanings. It's more than just looking at.
Yes.
It has a soul. So I'm very, very honored to be on this panel, to talk to us, to talk to you about what you're doing, because what we're doing here is just not talking about art. It's revolutionary. All right?
And we're continuing a legacy, a great
Yes,
legacy,
absolutely.
that a lot of us aren't taught. So we are the progenitors of this culture. We perpetuate it. Without us, it dies, because you know they want to squash it. I mean, they don't want us woke, okay? Go ahead,
Exactly.
Doc.
Well, it's just like the song, They're Not Like Us.
For sure.
Hey, I love
sure.
it. I
And
love
for
it.
sure. And you know, I'm from Philly, and so you know, I'm an Eagles fan, and definitely people be dogging Philadelphia Eagles fans, and if you're from Philly, without a doubt. And so I just wanted to touch on For those that may not be aware, that 1926 was the year that Carter G. Woodson founded Negro History Week.
Did you know that Carter G went to my alma mater, Berea College?
That's right, in Kentucky. I spoke there a few times. Great
Class
school.
of 76, bro. Class of 76.
Wow.
All right, so I'm clearly out of my element because I did not go to an HBCU. I'm going to own it.
Berea
It's
is
all
not
good.
a
I know it's not an
HBCU.
HBCU, but I'm just saying, you know, I think it's important that people know that HBCUs play and continue to play an important part in our history.
Definitely.
And I'm just lucky that I grew up in a time in the city, Philadelphia, where I learned history, and when I went to college, Trinity College, Hartford, Connecticut, I was a double major, political science and intercultural studies, which was the study of African studies, Latin studies, African-American studies, and Asian studies. So I got like an overview. So I had it all going on. So that's why I am the way that I am as well. My father was in the military. So I've been exposed to a lot of different cultures, and I think that's what we need to do. We need to understand that we are all connected and we all
there's
related.
definitely a connection.
We all cousins. Okay?
Absolutely, absolutely.
We all cousins.
And we're telling our history not only to black people that aren't aware, but I was talking to Tim the other day, and he was talking about how Africans don't know of our story, of how we got here, and all that. They don't teach you anything about slavery.
Well,
None of that.
sadly, in Africa, they were colonized. So
Well,
therefore, the
still,
French,
yeah.
the Spanish, the Portuguese, the
British.
Italians, the British, they taught them their history.
Yes.
And even today, they don't understand their history. But it was by design. All right.
Exactly.
So there would not be a connection between the African and the African American.
And if I could interject, in 2007, my mother and I, we went to South Africa, and we were in Cape Town. And there's a museum there called the Slave Museum. And when I walked in, I was momentarily struck by the fact that they had this incredible exhibit which dealt with the civil rights movement here in the United States. They had the Ku Klux Klan, and they had all these things. And so one of the connections that I see that exists is between education and politics. And the connections between Africans and African Americans. And before we started recording, we had made mention of the fact that the first elected president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, is a graduate of Lincoln University, which is outside of Philadelphia. He also obtained two master's degrees from the University of Pennsylvania. And we also had spoke on Hastings Kamuzu Bandu, president of, always mispronounce it, Malawi.
Malawi, very good.
Okay, thank you.
But going back to Kwame Nkrumah, yes, we thank him for going to Lincoln University, but he is also influenced by the Harlem Renaissance. I mean, he used to study with John Henry Clark, George Padmore, and several others who were part of that mix, even Du Bois. So he learned a lot. He also became a friend to Malcolm X and Martin Luther King.
Wow. Okay.
So therefore, that whole connection, the Harlem Renaissance, where we, like you as an artist, was writing and painting for us and telling our story, that influenced Kwame Nkrumah to such an extent that not only did he become the president of Ghana, the first president, but he became the social and the political revolutionary in Africa.
Yes.
All right, coming out with his own idea of Nkrumahism. Yeah, Nkrumahism.
Nkrumahism, yes.
Yeah, Nkrumahism.
Yes. And I think we can also ascribe to him the father or one of the founders of Pan-Africanism.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at Pan-Africanism, you have to look at Kwame Nkrumah. You have to look at W.E. Du Bois. I mean, from 1921 to 1945, there were what you call Pan-Africanist conferences that was in Africa that Du Bois used to go to. All right, along with George Padmore and several others out of the Caribbean. So there was an element of connecting, all right, connecting the dots.
Yes.
You see,
Right,
and the problem is that frightened the larger white political establishment, not only in the United States, but throughout Europe and Central and South America.
Well, it's an unstoppable movement. I mean, we survive insurmountable odds. The fact
Without
that
a
we
doubt.
are here
Today.
the fact that it's a freaking miracle, man.
It is a miracle.
It's a freaking miracle. All the shit that our ancestors went through.
Yeah.
It's amazing that
And
any
still
of
we
them-
stand and still we rise.
Yes, that's
Still
right.
we
Maya Angelou,
rise.
right?
Yes.
Exactly.
And she also used to go to Ghana.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, because she,
Maya,
in
love
fact,
her.
it's so interesting about it is that Maya Angelou, Du Bois, and several others moved to Ghana in
Ghana.
1957. It was like a band of them, all right, to take on this new ideology of
Exactly.
Pan-Africanism,
Exactly.
to show the world that we're one.
Lois Mailou Jones,
Yes.
Howard University artist. She went to Africa. Her amazing works. I mean, I'm so inspired by her. The connection. She brought it back. I saw her work. It inspired my love of collecting African artifacts. Like I'm saying, I collect wood, is what we call
Yes,
it.
you do, yes.
I had tons of it.
But also your
Yeah.
artwork.
And I put it in my art. When I first started the tribal rhythms movement, the series, I wanted to educate people because there were so many misconceptions about African art. So
Yes.
many.
And
Like you
Africa
said,
and Africans.
and Africans and the colonists, they weave their own story, but I want to tell the story. So I would do the research and decipher the information and put it in the art in a subliminal way. You know, stolen legacy.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of my artwork from that series is the backdrop is pages from that book because I use mixed media. So the book was falling apart. Don't get me wrong, I didn't tear it up.
That means it's good. That means
It
it's
was-
well
right.
read.
Somebody had read it so much,
You know, back in
Yeah.
the day, if a book didn't have no writings in it,
Yes.
all right,
That meant it
and no
hadn't been
torn-
loved.
That's right.
Nobody read it. Nobody read
right.
it.
It was in pristine condition. It was just there for, decor.
So I glued it to the canvas.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
That's what I
tremendous.
did.
It
That's
is.
tremendous.
So while we're talking about that, so people who may not know that you are an artist, would you like to share some contact information, some websites, some social media, so
Contact,
people who are listening, they can go and check out some of your art?
Yeah, well, I've maximized the search so well. You can just put my name in any search engine, and you'll see my house. It'll have my address, my phone number, and then underneath it'll have all the websites. I got a bunch of websites.
All right, so
But
we're going to ask you to
so-
spell your name so people can find you.
It's Everett, Everett, Spruill, Spruill.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But you know, Brother Everett is just not an artist. He's a revolutionary. He
I am.
is
I am.
a fighter for our people because when you see his art, it has a meaning. You know, some people just draw stuff for the heck of it. You know, have some type of weird inspiration. But his stuff has meaning. It jumps off the canvas that says, look
Thank
at
you.
me,
Thank you.
check me out, because I have a story to tell.
And I do believe you have your coffee table book.
I have a coffee table, 3 coffee table books.
Okay, do you have one of them with you right now?
I have all of
Let's
them.
whip that out real quick and give people a quick glimpse
So should we
of
see-
what they can see when
Should
they
we
go to
look
your
at
website.
African, jazz,
We
or
can
everything?
sample a little bit of
Yeah, a little
everything.
bit, yeah.
Well, I do a variety of styles, and I'm telling my story. This book I call The Spice of Life. On the cover is my version of a photo my mom took of us on Christmas morning, 1965. Mom made all our clothes growing up, and every time, and she's a photographer, remember I tell you, so every time we pose for the picture, right? New clothes. So the first year they had a black doll. My sister has a black doll. So yeah, that's a collage from magazine pages, actually. This is a coffee table book. Mom is on the front page. That's me and Mom. That's me in the background there. I might have been like 4 or 5 years old. I collect stamps.
As do I. I send postcards to myself when I travel.
Oh, yeah.
I have a collection,
Wow.
of postcards of places that I've traveled
That
to.
used to be so common back
Yes,
in the day.
and now it's hard to
It
find
was.
postcards.
telling
It was. It was.
Yeah.
But stamps are featured in a lot of my artwork. Like I said, I use mixed media. That's painted on a map of Paris. I was sitting in front of the tower, took a photo. That's from a photo. Let's see. A lot of mixed media.
Let's go to the tribal portion.
Yeah, let's
real
see
quick.
some
That's fine.
African stuff.
And while you do that, I just wanted to share a tangential
Yeah, go ahead.
collection that I had to Malawi.
Okay.
So I graduated from Temple University School of Law, which is now called Beasley School of Law, because Mr. Beasley gave him some money to put his name on the building. But it's all good. So the summer of 1981, I went to the University of Ghana Law School. And Professor Henry J. Richardson III, who is now deceased, it was his first semester teaching at Temple. And so interestingly enough, Professor Richardson is a graduate of Yale. And so he passed in October of 2025. But the connection is that he acted as a legal advisor, and he was instrumental in helping President Bandu of Malawi set up their legal infrastructure, their U.S. Constitution. And I just wanted to read something very quickly from the obituary they had pasted. It says that Henry J. Richardson III, Professor Emeritus at Temple University School of Law in Philadelphia, known as the father of Black traditions of international law, died on October the 5th, 2025. Professor Richardson was a graduate of Yale Law School, and he served as the international legal advisor to the Malawian government, and he played a key role in shaping the post-independence framework, legal framework, and regional diplomatic strategies. Professor Richardson received an LLM in international law from...
You have to switch phones. The storage is full.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize it.
Okay.
You can use this one.
Okay. Okay, so we just wanted to continue and just let you know that Professor Richardson became a leading academic on African legal issues and held influential roles in the United States foreign policy, being one of the first people of color to serve on the National Security Council under President Jimmy Carter. He was also a legal advisor to the Congressional Black Caucus, and he was general counsel at the Department of Defense. He was a leading scholar on international law, racial and global injustice. His work explored the connections between international law, African Americans, African development, and the anti-apartheid movement, while also contributing to critical race theory and third world approaches to international law. He played a key role in founding the Americans of the American Society of International Law. And that was an organization created to amplify Black voices in international law. And his seminal work, and this is going to be the last thing I'm going to read, it says here, his scholarly legacy is his book, The Origins of African-American Interests in International Law, which emphasizes the importance of recentering Africans and African-Americans in international legal discourse, particularly in human rights and the necessity of engaging international law and addressing slavery and the slave trade. And these remarks were taken from his obituary. So, as I said, I was fortunate to come across such a scholar as that, the summer of 1981 while at the University of Ghana.
His work is very important.
Absolutely.
Especially when you look at international law. We don't have enough African Americans and Africans in international law.
Correct.
I mean, most of our people are doing domestic or they're chasing ambulance and that type of thing. But if we're going to change the trajectory of our people in Africa and the United States, we have to focus on international law.
Yes.
It's so interesting that I'm the last academic to have interviewed Thurgood Marshall.
Wow.
And he used to talk about international law heavily when I was interviewing him in reference to, he never said civil rights, human rights.
Human rights.
All right, because just before his death, he started to focus on that as being the vehicle that we should utilize. Because when we utilize civil rights, we're locked in, all right, and we're being controlled by the forces that we're fighting.
And we outnumber them anyway. That's the thing.
That's right.
If we all got together, we could take over these plans.
Easy.
Easy.
And that may come. That may come.
It's coming.
So
Yeah, it's
that's
coming.
kind
I
of.
think Public Enemy had a song, Fear of a Black Planet.
Fight for power.
So, sort of in keeping with that vein, and one of the other connections I had that, we're running out of time, so we may have to do a part two. So I had identified another connection as being the civil rights movement and apartheid. So we know South Africa, until Nelson Mandela was freed and became the first elected democratic president of South Africa. I think that was 1994.
Yeah.
So shortly thereafter, he asked the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu to head up the Truth and Reconciliation
Absolutely, yes.
Commission, which for people who are not familiar with that, and there is a book by Archbishop Desmond Tutu that speaks to that entire experience. It was an attempt to allow people in South Africa who had committed heinous crimes. And we know the history of South Africa, okay, all the things that they did do. And so it was a way to allow them to come forward, and it was supposed to be a healing process in the sense that it was an attempt at restorative justice as opposed to restitution. And we know in the United States there has never, ever been any attempt to apologize or make any type of amends or reparations for slavery. But we know it's coming.
I've hosted Bishop Tutu two times in my home in Chicago.
Wow.
And I had extensive talks with him about this reconciliation. That was just that's one stage of it, because ultimately he focused on that land should be given back to the Africans. All right, because you just can't. It's not good enough just to say I'm sorry.
Oh no.
All right, without giving that land and money back to the original inhabitants of that country, of those people. And that's where we have to go. I also want to make mention that there were other people on the African soil, as well as in the Caribbean, that was helping to spearhead that movement against apartheid. Remember, we can never forget Colonel Gaddafi, all right, of Libya. I mean, he gave them not only money but arms. At a time that the United States did not. Remember, we came in, the African Americans not, but the government came in at the tail end of it, because until they didn't come in because they realized that apartheid was going to end. Then we cannot forget about Fidel Castro.
I was going to speak. Let's speak on Cuba.
All right. I mean, Fidel Castro. Remember, while the United States was sending armies all over the place and losing, remember, he sent his army to Namibia to fight against the apartheid there.
Yes.
All right. And they even took on some South African troops.
Absolutely.
And also he is giving arms to the ANC.
Yes.
All right. So those are very, very important, because remember, Fidel Castro, he called himself an Afro-Latino, Afro-Cubano.
Yes.
All right. He is even though he's a communist, he is a believer in Santeria, the African-based religion. All right. Then you had Colonel Gaddafi. He was unlike his Arab brothers. He said, I am an African.
Right.
All right. And he supported all liberation movements throughout Africa and the Caribbean and also in Europe.
Yes. So see, what we're sharing with you is history that's not commonly known. I mean, and so, people, because, if you're not taught, you don't know. And we know they don't really want us to know, so they're not really trying to teach it. So those of us that know what we know, we have to use vehicles like either the podcast that I'm doing or other channels, art, music, literature. These are all ways that revolutions and the state of we the people gets telegraphed. And we're in such a time as that now. And so I just wanted to kind of wrap stuff up because Dr. White has to leave us. I grew up in Philadelphia, and this is the year that we celebrate 250 years of the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So the preamble says, and I'm just going to read that to you really quickly because I just want us to end on a note. It says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. And so I had kind of like a question here, which was, given the present status of affairs in the United States, what does the future hold? Will we be able to retain our republic? Change is definitely in the air. And I say we the people are in the streets exercising their First Amendment rights. And the First Amendment states, Congress shall make no law
Speech.
respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. In sum, there are many connections, and I'm going to ask all y'all to weigh in a minute. In the words of the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu, he describes the South African concept, Ubuntu. A person is a person through other persons. Ubuntu is not, I think, therefore I am. It says, I am a human because I belong. It comes from a Zulu proverb, Umuntu, Nugumuntu, Nagabuntu, meaning a person is a person through other people. Understanding this way of being centers on concepts of community, generosity, kindness, and humanity. In the words of Nelson Mandela, in Africa, again, there's a concept known as Ubuntu, the profound sense that we are human only through the humanity of others. And we touched on that ever so briefly when we were talking about international law and the need to focus on humanity. That if we are to accomplish anything in this world, it will be in equal measure be due to the work and achievement of others. In other words, we are not in this by ourselves.
No.
That we have to move forward together in unity. So what say ye?
Me?
Anyone?
Oh, well, that's a lot.
It is. I'm not trying to look. I know.
Get to all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it was too much. I forgot. Anyway, no, we have to do what we can do locally. We act locally. We think globally.
Yes.
I mean, we want to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. I mean, we know what our problems are, and if we get distracted by people trying to, just focus on the solution. There's always a solution to our problems, but we're so fragmented, dissected. They done chopped us up, and we don't know.
They're definitely divide and conquer, and we've been divided and conquered, so we can't even think together, move on one accord.
Black folks vote for Trump. That's like mind-boggling.
But I think the issue is that, you ask a very important question.
Right.
And that is, will the republic or democracy survive?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it will survive. The question is what role will we as African Americans play in this setting?
Absolutely.
All right. Now, we have given up. We have lost a lot. All right. We as a group, we have come a long way.
But we got a long way to go.
I don't look at the point that we came a long way. I look at the point that we're here now, and we have to continue the movement for greater strength.
Yes.
And what I'm afraid of in this society, that we are behind. We have lost our strength. As I was talking to brother earlier, at one time, the African American was the most important minority group. They had to come through us.
Free integration. Yes.
All right? But now, we're behind everyone. We're behind light-skinned Latinos. We're behind light-skinned Muslims. We're behind
light skin. Did you have to make that?
I do that
because colorism exists, and that's part of the issue and the problem.
The reason why I say that because we make the mistake sometimes by saying that, oh wow, since they're from Panama and they're light-skinned, and they say, oh, they with us. No, they have their own agenda. True. All right, my family's from Panama and Costa Rica, right? So there is a division of color there that we don't like to look at. You see? So let me finish 1 second. So the question is where we're going to be. Because right now we're pushing everybody else's agenda and not our own. And if we're going to have programs whereby we push their agenda and just say, oh, they colored like us, all right, then we lost.
Okay.
All right? And that's one thing. Going back to the Africans, when you look at people like Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, all right, Steve Biko, Muammar Gaddafi, all right, and Thomas Sankara, they didn't push the other people's agenda. They push their agenda.
Yes.
All right? And that's what's taking place with Africa now. And we have to follow that rule. All right? Now, is it going to be tough? Absolutely. Like I put in my last book, all right? That when you begin to push your agenda, you're going to have a lot of pushback.
Yes.
Because
Always.
you're pushing back against the narrative that they want us to have. They're going to push back in 4 ways, in which I'm a victim of.
Okay.
And that is, they will push back by going after your character. Try to destroy your character. Try to scare people about you. Secondly, going after your money. If you're working, you may lose your job. If you have your own business, you may have some problems. All right? Thirdly, trumped up charges, whereby they drag into the court that I have to hire someone like this to continue, I have to pay thousands of dollars to fight them. And the last thing is that they will outright not only put you in jail, but they will kill you. That's where we are now.
Yes.
And that's why I say it depends where we stand.
Right.
That is, the Republic is going to survive, but are we going to still be a player in the Republic?
Well, I put it this way.
This is blacklisted, by the way.
I see that.
It's war against people of color, and there will be casualties. Everybody doesn't make it. You see what I'm saying? You got some knuckleheads out there. They think everything's okay. People think, oh no, Martin Luther King came along, and now everybody can get along. Look, racism still exists. Police brutality. They're killing us daily. They just don't put it on the news.
Well, they are putting it on the news
only
now.
difference between brother and I is that I'm not going to say people of color. I'm going to be very specific.
Black people.
All right, black people are FBAs, foundational Black Americans.
Oh yeah.
Which a lot of people aren't even familiar with that concept. We're not going to go into it now. That'll be another conversation because we know you got to leave. So that's a whole nother conversation. So we even have, distinctions and division among black people, the
among
foundational
ourselves.
blacks and others.
Right.
So that's another episode, people. So
But see, we still exist by a miracle, and they can't stop us. They can't stop us, and they know that. They did a study up in Canada, some institute. They say that white people think that black people are gaining on them. They think that we're gaining, even though, like you said, we making minimal, strides. But in their head, they think, oh man, and what we did to them, they, psychologically, they think we're coming back to get them, like the big payback, like James Brown.
there's a lot going on here. So what we're going to do, we're going to
Right,
end on
right.
this note, and hopefully we'll be able to do this another time. I just want to say thank you to both of
Thank
you.
you, Sister Pam.
And there's much to be said. I will just make the observation for those that were not aware and not keeping this in the back of their head. So when the Constitution and the Bill of Rights was promulgated at that time, it was only speaking to the existence, and the only people
they had to write us
who were instrumental in creating that document or those documents, but it's withstood the test of time. White men who owned property. That's who drafted this. 13 white men who were property owners from the 13 colonies of different religious backgrounds. They got together, they agreed to disagree, they were respectful of each other's opinions. I think we've shown here that we can be respectful of each other's opinions. We ain't got to
We're on the
agree,
same page.
but we engage in discourse.
Absolutely.
And that's the way forward. We have to engage in discourse and be respectful.
not
And the
gonna be
way
easy.
forward is with love, upendo. So I thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.